we look forward to seeing you guys down at Equip Expo 2023, October 17th through the 20th. Guys, don't forget to use promo code Brian to register and save your guys' self 50% all summer long. Get those tickets ASAP. And by the way, we do earn a little bit of a kickback, and that goes right into supporting the show, supporting the podcast, and the YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much in advance if you happen to use our code. And don't forget to register you and each individual that you got to bring for your team. You got to register each person separately.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys, and good morning. I am joined here today with the beautiful wifey for lifey. How you doing, babe?
Hey.
That's about the amount of energy we're going to get out of you today. It has been an exhausting couple of days, exhausting couple of weeks, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. As you guys can imagine, running the lawn and landscaping company, running the social media company, building the house, figuring out our moving situation, having the 2 under 2. How you holding up, babe?
Fine. Don't forget, trades is coming up in
Together Trades is coming up in a month, which I'm actually really looking forward to that.
Me too. It's just a lot all at once. It's fine. It's fine. We're actually doing pretty good. I mean, the sleep could be better, but
yeah, I mean,
as far as keeping the plate spinning, I think we're doing a decent job.
Yeah, I would agree. What we wanted to talk about was, and I don't know if this would be like a super deep, kind of conversation. We wanted to probably keep it a little bit lighthearted this Monday morning here as we're coming in hot, real time, putting a podcast together for you guys, because I feel like the wheels kind of fell off the bus about 2 weeks ago, and we kind of are struggling to put things back together. Although I think we're going to draw a line in the sand tomorrow, i.e. today, when you guys are listening to the podcast, and hopefully get back up on the horse. And what does Greg Woodstock say?
Our horse is going on a little lame.
I got like a 3-legged horse that's like walking sideways. What does Greg say? Something about like the best plans of mice and men or something like that? Like, what's the old one? Like, if you got the laugh, like tell them your plans or something like that. And because we're just like trying to figure out life right now. And you and I've had some pretty emotional conversations.
We have a lot going on, like between the house. Like Brian mentioned, we're moving with like a newborn. Mm-hmm. And well, I guess he probably won't be a newborn when we move, but
he'll be 3 months old.
He'll be 3 months old.
Ish.
Yeah. Our moving situation, we haven't talked about it, I guess, at all. We're not going to just yet, maybe. But when we do tell people where we're moving, they're really, yeah, I could see why you'd be a little stressed out.
Well, the reality is like, to give some context to the whole conversation.
We have a cool opportunity.
Well, I was going to say like outside of that, but I'm just saying like in life right now, dude, the season of marriage, the season of newborn babies, having 2 under 2.
Thankfully, we only have 2 under 2 for like another couple months, and then it'll magically get better, right? When Emmy turns 2.
Yeah, I don't.
It's like 2.
The terrible 2s thing
is that better than 2 under 2?
Yeah, the terrible 2s is definitely like stops being a thing as soon as the baby turns 2 in 1 month.
Or like
25 months.
Is it supposed to start at 2?
Well, I don't think that's the case. We don't use negative language like that in our household. The terrible 2s
or terrific 2s.
We're the terrific 2s, and we don't call
terrifically terrible 2s.
We don't call it witching hour. We call it like happy hour. Because we're positive people, right? And we're not going to speak negative on our kids. We're going to speak what we want and project that over our kids. And
if I randomly stop talking on this podcast, it's because our 2-year-old woke up.
Which I don't know how you're going to run and do that, because baby's sitting on the lap right now, and we got a limited time to add value to you guys today on today's podcast. But the whole point of the conversation we wanted to mention was, man, sometimes being in different seasons of your life can be super fun. It can be super exhausting because you're like, man, this season of our life is just ridiculous. And I'm like, it's a season, right? Like it's a season first off. So where are you at right now in the motherhood season? Where are you at right now in the future home plans, season? Because obviously the home is getting built, but that's still at least 10 months out?
Yeah. It's crazy because like we're making decisions now, and like obviously we've been thinking about this house, planning this house for a long time. And it's weird when you get to the point of like, okay, now we're actually like decided. Like this is it's like
like they need yeses or nos.
Yeah. And it's hard.
It's a lot harder than I expected.
Yeah.
Even for somebody that has it all figured out, because we wanted to build this dream home.
I mean, we have it figured out. It's just like you start second guessing everything. Like, do I really like this flooring choice? Like, do I really like this color?
What doors do I want to have on my home for the next 30 years?
Yeah.
Or make a 10 grand mistake.
Like most recently it's in cabinet. So it's like, what am I going to use this drawer for? Like you're thinking of all like this super logistics from day to day and how you're going to function in the house.
Or 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, right?
We'll probably redo our kitchen once in the next 20 years, hopefully. But
yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, it's hard to not only like live in this season, but live also
like your future self. Like, how am I going to function when I have, 3 kids, 4 kids? Like what happens, when I have a 6-year-old in the house? Like we obviously are in that season yet. We've never had a 6-year-old or, so trying to think ahead too.
And if you don't know what you don't know, like how do you sometimes prepare for the season ahead of you? Like what's around the corner if you don't know what you don't know? Well, of course you listen to podcasts and talk with elders of whatever.
Just like we would in business.
Yeah, business or church or your faith or people that are further down the road. And we've really, I feel like we've been challenged a lot to grow in that regard. Like we've become exceedingly more empathetic. We've compassionate. At least I have. I'll speak for me. I've also realized, trying to realize, like, there's like an Instagram reel is like, this is the best days, or like you'll look back on these days, like these are the good old days. Mm-hmm. And like one part of you is, well, I would believe that if I wasn't literally exhausted from lack of sleep, i.e. having like 2 newborn babies, right? 2 under 2. But also the other part of you says,
we don't have 2 more newborns.
No, we have a 22-month-old, but a newborn. But my point is, if you fast forward 15 years from now, you had said this earlier in the kitchen when we were making breakfast. You said, "Yeah, I know that we're tired," and we have both laughed, we've both cried, we've both been on 1 hour of sleep, 3 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep. It's been a lot.
The crazy thing I didn't expect is it's not the newborn.
No, wildly enough, it's not even the newborn keeping us up. It's good old Emmy. And we love Emmy with our heart and soul, of course. But again, like there's things that you never expected or planned for where you're like, why does the 2-year-old want milk more than the newborn? And they don't understand sharing. They don't understand a lot of things just yet. Obviously, there's not a lot of reasoning or rationale at 22 months. Go figure. Sometimes there's not a lot of reasoning or rationale with 22-year-olds, though, to be fair, or 32-year-olds. So to be fair. But right now, we're like trying to live our best life now. But then I was just saying, to go back on the point where we were making breakfast, talking about the good old days, like 20 years from now, we would go, I would imagine, do anything to go back to this season of our life.
We were talking about our old apartment, because we're getting ready to move again, and like silly things here that we're going to miss. Like we brought 2 babies home here, and we went through a lot here, and it's just been a couple of years. And so we're talking back to, what would you tell yourself when we first, got together? What would you tell yourself when you first started business? What would you tell yourself when you first moved into our old apartment? Like, when would you go back to like relive? Also is fun to think about. Like I said, I would go back to when we first, you said you'd go back to when we first moved out of the old place. And I said, I would go back to when we first moved in.
So we're just going to rehash that whole conversation this morning on the podcast?
I guess.
That's our topic for the day?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so what did you, and this might be therapeutic, but it'll help. Holy crap, it's actually like kind of showering and raining out right now, side note.
Oh, praise Jesus.
We haven't had a single ounce of rain in like a month, and that's very peculiar for spring in Michigan.
It's like when the dog walks on the grass, it crunches. Like you can hear it crunch.
Like most guys had a rough summer last year, side note, a rough winter, and now the lawns are burned out by the 3rd week of May. That's never been a thing. No. I can't remember that it's been burned out this early, this soon.
And I kept saying the grass is dead, and you're like, no, it's dormant. And I'm like, well, how long does it have to be dormant before it's dead? And I think we're at that crossroads.
Dude, for real. Unless you have irrigated lawns, it's wild. Yeah. And a lot of people are going to be hurting financially doing bi-weekly cuts or skipping a couple cuts. We started skipping a couple cuts even for our subdivision lawns.
Which is crazy.
They usually get irrigated.
Well, half the people's waters haven't even been turned on for very long yet.
It's a wild season. But side note, that's why you keep a war chest of income. That's why you keep a different clientele of residential and commercial and mixed and this and that, and even landscape opportunities, because that can still come in. We got a 5-yard mulch job, by the way, not going to do on Friday. That's cool. That came in. Make us $12, and
we won't be here Friday.
The guys will be doing it on Friday, though.
Okay.
But any which way, So what was your thought process? Okay, so we're talking about the season, that getting the most out of the season that you're in, or enjoying the season that you're in without letting it like rob your joy.
Well, it's really difficult when people, especially like obviously we're talking in terms of like having a newborn now, but this could be any season of your life. Like, oh, make sure you enjoy it, and like you have a screaming newborn, your 2-year-old is screaming, everybody's hungry, everybody needs a diaper changed,
your wife's
and you're
crying.
like, how am I supposed to enjoy every second? Or like in business, say like Brian said, you've had a really couple rough starts to the season, and this one's no different. And you're like, seriously? Like,
again?
And people are like, no, enjoy it. Like, this really is the best stuff. But honest to God, looking back, I would.
How do you quantify
like to relive the early years together in business and like being in it? Like now, I'm like, those were the golden years. Like those were the funnest years in business. Like when we were fighting tooth and nail every day. Like, yes, it was hard when we were in it, but I don't know, I loved it so much.
What did I say, by the way? I don't remember.
You said you would go back to the day we moved out of the old apartment.
I remember that. And what did I say though? I said
you said you would tell yourself that it was literally 3 hours ago, and I don't remember, Brian.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, I'm asking for a friend. I think I said it's all going to work out, and you go, yes. That's it?
Yeah, that's what you said.
And I was like, I'm like, it's all going to work out, and you're like, what do you mean? Like it's all going to work out? I'm like, because what I had said was we were making the right decisions.
Yeah, time's going to go by anyway. And when you're doing the right things, like that excites you because you know you're on the right path versus like if you're not doing the right things, you don't want time to pass because you know that you're not moving the needle forward in the correct way.
Yeah. And by the way, these are like the philosophical questions that we have while making pancakes and toaster strudels at, 10:30 in the morning or 9:30 in the morning. But I was saying the Slight Edge book, it's a really good book. I think Paul's referenced it actually once or twice lately. Darren Hardy wrote a book called The Compound Effect. Very, very similar. And just a really interesting takeaway was that time will expose you no matter what. And if you're doing the right things, then you're kind of okay with time passing you by, if you will, because you're doing the right things and things will accumulate, materialize, and come together, whatever you want to call it. But if you're not doing the right things and the right decisions, you fear time passing because obviously it's going to expose you either which way. And so 6-7 years ago, we started making really, really good decisions, like extremist decisions in terms of like saving money or not eating out or saving money or living below our means and all that mess. And so I didn't mind the passage of time because I'm like, hey, these are what successful people do. If I just do these decisions, more than likely our life will quote unquote get promoted. Well, and it went full circle because I was sharing a thought with every time I get around Corey Ballard or Troy Clogg or anybody successful, they're like, Brian, just keep doing what you're doing.
And it's so frustrating to hear, but it's also like we realized reassuring because they wouldn't be saying that if we weren't doing the right things.
I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I hope. I would believe that who you're talking about would feel comfortable speaking enough into our life at this point.
And if I wasn't, I'd hope they would
something right.
Yeah, if not, I hope they'd grab my football helmet, face mask, and grab my attention and be like, Fullerton, stop messing up. And I'm not saying we're making all the right decisions. There's a lot of stuff we still got to shore up on. Of course, we're human. But it was just an interesting conversation this morning. And I said, like, how do you enjoy the season you're in? Laughing, playing, honestly enjoying the emotional ups and downs, the crying, you know what I mean, if you will. And like, it's just a human, like, I don't understand like human nature capacity, like how to have all the answers at this season of our life to be like, no, you got to enjoy the season while you're in it. Also, like the next season will be fun too. And then like when you're in the next season, you're like, man, I sure wish that I enjoyed that first season more or the previous season more, because we missed the season of just having Emmy. We missed the season of just it being you and me. You were talking about that. Like, talk about that for a quick minute. Because are you crying right now?
No.
Oh, I'm not trying to make you cry. I was legit anything would both make us both cry right now because we're like
so tired.
Literally an hour and a half of sleep.
Like we're not just being us. Well, being funny. I'm like, do you remember when we could just like, hey, I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
And like you could just go to bed.
Well, I was talking about catching a movie for my birthday.
Oh yeah, we're like we used to love our favorite thing to do in the winter, because obviously unless it snowed, we didn't have a whole lot going on, was to go have popcorn for breakfast at the like catch a super early matinee.
Yeah, like 10:30.
And have popcorn and pretzels for breakfast and see a movie.
We've obviously been healthy for a long time.
It was
Healthy
the best
choices.
thing ever. I freaking love a handful of popcorn and then Milk Dud at the same time. And
If you're a young
the best
couple,
thing.
go catch a matinee for $6 and go get $20 with popcorn and snacks.
Or even when I was working full time, I would call in Slick and we would go practice freedom, is what we called it, of being in business together. And we would go and get breakfast together, talk about the business,
Played hooky.
dream build a little bit, and like practice what it would be like to
Remember,
like.
we did that at Backyard. Remember that one time?
Yeah, not all the time. My old boss, if
Once
you
or
ever
twice a
listen to
year.
this, I never did this.
Yeah, well, he never paid his employees well,
Yeah.
so God bless.
And so we would, do things like that. And it's like almost hard to remember. It feels like a fever dream at this point because it feels so far away. But thinking back to like, we used to do silly things too, like stay up until 2 a.m., feverishly cutting out things to put on our dream board and getting excited and talking about the future we wanted to have. Like I remember this goes back to the interview, the very first, not even date, but first time we sat down together to figure out if we wanted to actually date. We closed down a Starbucks just sitting there talking about the life we wanted to live together.
Yeah, they closed at like 8 or 9 up at that location, and we were there till 10.
They asked us to leave.
Yeah, you guys can go now that you guys have your whole life, figured out.
Yeah.
But it's like trying to enjoy the season you're in at the time, and then like also, simultaneously you're like, I don't want to be in this season because like we were broke.
It was hard. So the
Yeah.
spaghetti argument about we cheaped out on spaghetti sauce, ended up having like a giant fight about it. Like I wish I could go back to that moment and like because of what it felt like to be in it. Like I know we were doing right things and like I miss being more in the fight with you. I think that's been one of the harder parts of having kids is like I don't feel like I'm in the ring with you. I'm in the arena, but I'm not in the ring with you day to day.
Yeah, I would agree. But we've also got some people that are on our team in our corner now.
Yeah.
We got Mark and Rob and Ryan and Bethany and many, many other great
Thank God
people.
for Bethany. I mean, thank God for everybody, but
Yeah.
I see Bethany more often than I see Rob.
That's true. Well, I see them 5 hours a week now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we brought Ryan on full time. We extended a pay raise and increase, significant one, et cetera, to bring him on as a third full time team member, big time. We're paying chunks in salaries just like you guys are when you're growing your team. And I called Rob first and I said, hey, here's what I'm thinking about doing. I want to ask you, do you want him to be full time, if you will? And he's like, why are you asking me? I said, well, because you're with him 40 hours a week. I'm with him 5. I was like, if you think it's a good decision, then let's do it. And he said, yeah, absolutely. And blah, 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 a lot of words and all this other stuff. But I don't know if like we're making a concrete point on the podcast. I'm not here to make a concrete point every time on the
I
podcast.
don't think we could today if we wanted to.
No, the lights are on, but nobody's home right now upstairs because, last night, dude, we tried to put Emmy down at 8.
We started bedtime at 7.
7.
Emmy didn't go to bed until 10.
Maybe 10.
And if you've ever had 2 kids close in age, it's like whack-a-mole, I've learned. Like you're trying to get one down while the other one's up and like you just we're man to man. Like I and then I know when you go to 3, it's like zone defense. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just like, and then we finally got crew down and all that mess, and we went to bed probably 11, and then at 2 you were up.
No,
3
so
you
we
were
thought
up.
we got crew down. Crew did not go down.
Crew did not
I was
go
up
down.
half an hour later with him, which is fine. He honestly isn't hard to put down. He was just hungry, which is
The
fine.
problem is like they wake each other
They've
up.
been waking each other up, which is difficult, which is going to be fun. And
Just to give you guys
when
hope
we
out there
move.
that I have one and have another on the way. Like, wait a minute, what? This isn't a good idea? Probably not, but we also didn't want to have
it's-
huge gap years with our kids.
It really is such a small season, and I know this from with like looking back with Emmy. Like those first 6 weeks with Emmy, those first 6 months with Emmy, were so hard. Emmy was not easy.
Yeah.
she still isn't easy.
She's going to be...
I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm glad she's not easy because the world isn't going to be able to push that kid around for anything.
But the almonds say with... who's the little one? Levi.
Levi.
They're like, is he going to be a president or a drug dealer or a drug cartel or something like that? Or one of the
Emmy
two?
will be either running the prison or...
We'll be right there with
Yeah.
little Levi.
No, she really is the sweetest kid. Like
She's
She's amazing.
She's
just,
so smart.
She is so ungodly hard-headed though, and I can't even be mad because I know she gets it from me, and that's like the most frustrating part is like I see myself in her, and like I don't know, anyways.
And I'm like, I didn't ask for either of these two. No, I'm just kidding.
If the kid would just sleep, everything would be fine.
It is the whack-a-mole thing. It's got to be like, it feels like some game, like handheld plastic Nerf toy for like a 9-year-old. Like you push one side in and the pin pops out the other side. Then you pop that pin in and it comes out the other side. It's like,
it's just twice a day for nap time, and for bedtime, it's like trying to get the stars to align to get them both happy. And I don't even care if they both go down at the same time. I just need them to both be happy while I'm getting the other one to sleep. You know what I mean? So this is definitely turning into more of a therapy session.
but it's just an interesting thing we were talking about this morning is like, how do you enjoy the season you're in? Because right now you're like, man, this is tough. But then 5 years from now you're reminiscing. You're like, man, that was such a fun season. And if I'm in the season right now, I'm like, I don't wish this upon anybody.
But I think the wisdom comes with like time, and not necessarily age, but just experience. And like you can be, you start your business at 17 and now you're 20 and you're looking back and you're like, oh, those were my golden days in business.
And they really are.
Or, and you're going to say that again. And then, 5 years later about where you are now. And so the more you live life, or the bigger life you live, the more you learn, like just going back to what I was saying, like remembering how hard this was with Emmy, just like with our business, remembering how hard those years were. There's certain frustrations in our business now where I'm like, man, are we ever going to be able to like completely get you out of the field? We had, Rob go down and then bam, you're back in and our whole life is turned upside down. Will that one day not be a thing anymore? Like that was so difficult. That was so hard. There's certain, pain points in our business now where I know in 5 years, if we do the right things, I know that's not going to be an issue anymore. And so I try and enjoy those. Like, okay, that was like being back in it. I'm like, okay, I almost felt like, not that this is anything similar, but like a wife to like a soldier in the military. Like my husband's deployed. Like I got this. Like I'm in the fight. Like it was hard, but it felt good.
How did you
it to be hard?
How did you dig deep? Were you like, this too shall pass? Or were you like, I'm just going to make it 1 inch at a time, or 1 hour at a time, or 1 day at a time? Like, how did you?
All of the above. Like, I like a good fight. I don't think that's a secret. We've talked about that on the podcast here. Like, I thrive in chaos. I thrive in like the difficult, gritty parts. Like that makes me feel alive. And I think it's messed up. I think it has to do with like childhood trauma, because I've learned.
You're just screaming in the bathroom
like
an hour and a half ago. You're screaming in the bathroom, crying, and then you're like Emmy screaming O's, which are like little they're like SpaghettiO things.
The organic SpaghettiOs, yeah.
They got to be organic.
They're Benny's O's.
Yeah, you can't give your kid on organic food. You'd be a horrible parent these days. But you're like screaming and crying, and then you're like, nobody recognizes my birthday. We're gonna go there.
Really?
Nobody's gonna recognize my birthday because yours always eclipses because of Father's Day. I understand it's not your point. What is your point then? Just so we're on the record.
You were sad because you felt not as celebrated as you should be, because because
nobody celebrated. Nobody celebrated because I literally chased around 2 crying, screaming children, and my wife, who was emotionally wrecked because we haven't had any sleeping days.
Yeah.
So like everything kind of hit the head yesterday. Like came to a focal point.
Your celebration gets spread out because I booked you a massage, but I couldn't get you in until Monday, and then we're going.
Yeah, I guess by the time you guys listen to this, I better be drooling, relaxed, passed out, drooling on something.
And then we're celebrating with your family today, but then to celebrate our birthdays, we go up north the weekend between our birthdays. And so on our actual birthdays, we don't really do much. So on your actual day, you're kind of like, meh.
Except for this huge trip that we're going on for 4 days.
So like perspective.
But you're like, nobody celebrates my birthday. And I go, let's celebrate your birthday. And you go, I don't want my birthday celebrated.
I was just saying, if you think about it, your birthday, you have more celebratory things before your birthday than mine, because mine happens after the fact of all the celebrations. Yours, at least, you have things to look forward to.
Since 1982, Exmark has been dedicated to building the world's finest mowers. These machines provide you with a quality of cut that seems impossible, dependability you can measure in lifetimes, and an operator experience like none other. Because Exmark believes if something's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Visit your local dealer to discover a one-of-a-kind ownership experience and see the difference for yourself.
Well, you can look forward to having a birthday dinner for your birthday.
I don't need a birthday dinner for my birthday.
Then why are you making it a big deal?
Make you feel better about.
It's illogical. It's like Jordan Peterson would eat you alive right now.
Podcast
you're like, well, you're trying to make some sense, but you're also not making sense, Anyway, so are you the eye roll? Dude, if you roll your eyes back right now, you might pass out. So I need you to button up this podcast with me before we lose you. What if your mic just went silent? I'm like, Liz, you still there?
I'm not speaking this on myself, but the other day I was joking about if I just happened to get mastitis or something and had to go to the ER, it would be like a little mini vacation. Like somebody's going to bring me 3 meals. I get to lay in bed.
That's messed up.
I know.
You were like, I hope I have to go to the hospital for something because then I can get 2 days away from everybody.
I didn't say I hope. I said I was just thinking how funny it is to think about that.
That's how tired you might be.
I wasn't this tired until this week, though. It actually hasn't been that bad.
So you pull through by saying other wives have done this. You can do this.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you say to somebody who's a business owner or they're a young couple that are literally broke as a joke? They have more month than money.
Well, it's like, if you've ever been into working out, like it's a purposeful pain. That's the same thing with labor, with childbirth. It's a purposeful pain. Like I'm excited to be in pain right now because the end is coming. Like I'm doing what I need to do to get the results I want. I'm in pain. I'm having these contractions because I'm birthing a baby.
So you're saying enjoy the season, and it's a guarantee that season will pass if you're making the right decisions, i.e. the slight edge type of conversation.
Yeah, you're only able to enjoy
the season,
a difficult season,
if you know you'll get out of it.
If you know that you're doing the right things to get out of it. If you are in a difficult season and you aren't doing the right things to get yourself out of it, no, hell no, it's not exciting.
Then that's a prison sentence.
Yeah, then that's terrible. But if I'm, eating beans and rice because I know that we're getting out of debt, we're reinvesting into our business and all these great things are happening and I'm super proud of myself and I'm keeping promises to myself, then I'm super excited. I thrive off of that. I love that.
And it almost makes you want to pay the price more or not cheapen it or dilute it or cut corners.
And that's how you earn your own self-respect. If I'm in it and I'm earning it, and like I got this actually from a Peloton ride. One of the instructors talked about like learning to keep promises to yourself, and that's how you earn your own self-respect. If I tell myself, I want to lose 50 pounds, and I wake up the next morning and eat a Hershey bar, I'm just showing myself that I don't respect myself at all.
We don't eat Hershey bars. We eat she/her bars from the Daily Wire. And Jeremy Boring.
Like if I can't even keep a promise to my own self, and like earn my respect that way, how do I show my spouse that I'm going to keep a promise to them? So like when you're in those seasons, like that's the refiningness. That's like you earning your own respect, you earning the grit, you're earning your own scars. Everybody loves a good scar story. Do you love getting the scar? Not necessarily.
Right. Well, out of your testimony, the test gives you your testimony. So what's a final thought? And we'll button this thing up with our therapy session. Cause
I don't even know if any of this is making sense to be honest.
I think it makes a lot of sense. It's just funny to talk out loud because I feel like when I do coaching calls with people, it's not like it's usually any groundbreaking thought process because rarely it is, but usually it's just having the conversation. How many times have you and I said that? I've said it 100 times on the podcast. Probably every podcast I say, have the conversation. It's all about communication. It can be, if you have this internal conversation, a problem can't be solved with the same level of thinking that created it. So you have to share that thought with somebody. And usually when you share that thought with somebody, the mastermind principle kicks in where 2 people are gathered, then a third thought will come together. And you can get as you want on that. But when you and I are sharing something out loud, we talk through those problems together and out of nowhere, a solution comes together. But you have to have that resonance together of 2 minds creating a third solution or a coaching call because you can't solve the same problem on their own level of thinking. Very rarely do I solve my own problems. But if I resonate with somebody else's thought process, I'm Mike Bedell, Rob, you, somebody.
Taking it full circle, I think that's also what helps you get through those tough seasons is having somebody you're in it with.
Absolutely.
Like the parenthood. Like the season of early parenthood, the season of building our business, the season we're in right now of building a house. Like we're in it together. And that does make it a lot easier to stomach, I guess.
Yeah. And also my whole thing is like, if they can do it, I can do it. Like nobody's better. I've realized the last couple of years that even the smartest people I get around with, when you really get to hang out with them in person, you're like, dude, this dude is no better than me. They might have made more right decisions, right? And took different actions to get there, but they're no better as a human being than me. So then I realized, well, let's deduce it down. It just comes to making right choices, having right thought process. Okay, well, I can work on myself. That's not a talent thing. That's a skill set thing. And you don't always make the right choices initially. Like you still war with your flesh. But at the end of the day, if you can start reprogramming your brain and diluting that negative thought process in your brain with good thought process, well, then your body and your mind and your life will start creating good habits, good characteristics, and good decisions. And
that's why we always talk about making those actionable steps, your goals. So people are like, oh, I'm going to set a goal to have a boat. Well, no, the goal should be the steps that you have to take to financially get yourself there to buying a boat. So like my goal then is growing my business, not getting the boat. My dream is having the boat. My reward is having the boat.
Yeah.
My goal is getting my business to the point where I can afford a boat.
Well, that's what, then another part of that, and I find this really fun conversation, but another part of the conversation this morning, I was like bummed, and you're like, why? I'm like, because I just don't foresee me ever getting a Lambo. And you're like, who cares? Sort of like, who cares? But like, and you're like, why? And I'm like, because am I making the right decisions to have the right size company or income to be able to get there? And I said, like, time is going to expose whether or not I did make right choices. Right. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm making the right choices right now to get a stupid car or to get a whatever you guys are interested in.
That's where those, like, you're taking your marriage hat off and putting your business owner hat on or business partner hat on with your spouse and saying, well,
let's figure it out.
You are that decision maker. It's just a decision. It's just making the right steps. And if you aren't going to be able to buy a Lambo, Brian, it's because of you.
Oh, yeah, totally. And that's where I'm like, some people like that seems insurmountable, and other people it's like, I like a good challenge. So now, of course, with you, you're crazy. You're like, we can
slap
get there.
me again.
Yeah, hit me again, damn it. And like, I'm like, can you just love on me and tell me I'm going to do a good job? And then I get around 12 o'clock. Goes, Brian, you're doing a good job. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, tell me the answer. You know, like all that. It's so funny how it all comes full circle.
Secret.
Yeah, give me the secret. But I don't know. I thought this was some pretty therapeutic type stuff, and it was just we were talking about, as you guys know, just to take it full circle, talking about like enjoying the season that you're in, of course, enjoying the season that you're going to be walking into, that you're building towards, but then also, you know, maybe reminiscing about the season you were just in, or the season a week ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, of course, some of you guys 10, 20 years ago, and just being like, we're reminiscent, we're thankful, we're grateful. We also like want to get to the next phase, but we don't want to rush past this phase too soon, because I don't want in 10 years to be like, man, I rushed through the newborn baby phase and I would do anything to see their little wrinkles on their thighs one more time, or to see them quiver when they're crying, or get out of the bathtub all cold and they want to hug you tight. And it's like all those little things you would give up anything when you're, 15 years from now to go back to when they were littles.
Just even a year ago. I mean, he doesn't have wrist rolls anymore.
I mean, through something
They're
the way,
gone.
well, yeah. Well, I mean, the other one that got me the other day, like she was on her tower finishing up a snack, threw it away in the trash, then came over and sat next to us. And I said, she like just threw her garbage out. Like we didn't even, and many, many other little impressive thoughts.
But that's what's getting me through this hard season of parenthood is I know we're doing the hard work now. And then that's the reward is like, it's hard. We believe in like respectful parenting where like, it's not,
we're not spoon feeding our children.
Yeah. But we're like also leveling with them and raising them up, to be respectful humans by showing them respect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so difficult when you're in it because we weren't raised that way.
No.
But this is the reward is I have a nice daughter who understands
many things,
not, in a top down way of like, you're doing this because I told you to do this, but she understands of just being
Emmy's
compassionate or
incredible,
and we're starting to see just a little bit of those glimmers of rewards now. But when you're in it, it's so difficult because I just want to be like,
you would do anything to hit fast forward 15 seconds on the YouTube video.
Yeah.
And that's how we were at the old apartment. And now I'm like, you're like, do you miss the old place? I go, actually, absolutely not. But I do miss the day we moved out because it was such a defining moment. And in fact, I'd say simultaneously, I would take it back to the first day when we moved into here because we literally thought this place was a penthouse suite in New York on Park City Avenue, whatever.
We thought that about the old place too.
That's true.
We got paint samples and laid on our floor and dreamed about the furniture, the couch we were going to buy for that crappy old apartment.
Isn't it wild though?
And we went to IKEA and bought it. It took us 6 months
to get the couch.
We didn't
get that till 3 years in.
No,
dude. Yes, I hadn't met Sean yet, bro. We were there for 2 or 3 years. Like, I don't know what else you want to say. It's not a mic drop moment. Like, that's how long it took us to get a couch at our apartment. For real. Go look at your photos.
Crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't a 6 month thing. You're out of your mind. It took us, we didn't have anything in that place. Remember the bookshelf that we were like so excited about? Mm-hmm. You didn't build your pallet wall till like year 3 or 4.
I got the pallet wall.
But I don't know. Any which way. And then now we're thinking about the next season of our life. Like we're in this limbo season as the house is going, and we're enjoying every minute of the house being under construction. But I'm also like, man, I just wish it was done so I can move in. I was talking to somebody just the other day. Like, you like the house being built? I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice if it was done. But also the dream was to not only have the house, but to watch the house get built, which is why we're going to be making some other decisions here with our living situation, so we can watch that
I
happen.
don't think we're crazy enough already.
Like we were
if we don't have enough wild things going on in our life.
But isn't it an interesting thought between me and you right now? Like, and 5,000 people listening today. Like, isn't it an interesting thought how much money? Think about it, that we're about to willing to spend to enjoy a 10-month season of our life.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like, how much money would you pay to go back to the apartment day? Your move in or your move out day?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much money would you spend to go back to get one more memory of holding your little kid, giving them their last bottle, like that Instagram reel you showed me?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the last time you gave Emmy a bottle, but I am willing to pay. It gives you just so interesting perspective. Like right now, I'm like, I do not want to miss the next 10 months of our home. It's a 13-month build. We're 3 months or so into this thing. I don't want to miss the next 10 months, and I'm willing to pay what we're about to pay for the barn and our next living situation just to be able to watch that 10 months. That's how much memories mean to me right now. And people are like, oh, it's about the money. It's about this. I'm like, nope, it's about buying stories and buying the memories.
The experience.
It's about the experience. And then, so that right there, hopefully this helps you guys also to maybe have some understanding that, like, even though you're in the fray and in the thick of it, like, this is exactly where you hoped you would probably be a few years ago for most of us. And as long as your life is progressing, i.e. you've been making right choices and right decisions. So I don't know. It's an interesting, fun conversation, and probably heavy one. A heavy one.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, let's just have a fun, lighthearted conversation about seasons of our life. And then, by the way, obviously hundreds of more seasons to come, because the story is always going to perk up, and we can't wait to have a camper one day, and a boat one day, and an up north home one day, and hopefully a down south home one day, and then we can Airbnb the Almonds home out west one day. I
want to do the Great Loop once we're done having babies, and the youngest one's like 7.
Yeah, we talked about that on a podcast. We can't wait to do the Great Loop on a boat, buy some $500,000 fishing cruiser boat thing, whatever they're called, and sail around, what is it, the Mississippi all the way down and around?
Yeah, so you usually start on like the Panhandle side of Florida, and then you go down around Florida up through like by the west coast or the east coast, all the way around New York, through the Great Lakes,
and then through Chicago all the way down.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's called the Great American Loop, I think.
That'll be another season of our life.
Yeah. You don't have to do it all at once. You can like dock your boat, put it in storage, and fly home, and then fly back to wherever your boat is. Or you can do it in like one go.
No, that's like people that like swim the English Channel. It's like, 60 miles, and they're like, oh, I swam it over 4 days and 3 nights of sleep and, 20,000 calories a day or whatever it is. And I'm like, dude, God bless you. Of course, you're doing stuff I would never do. So who am I to criticize? And you know what? God bless you for attempting. But that's not like swimming 60 miles straight. That's not the same thing of like doing 3 days of 20 miles. So I disagree. We have to be fully committed to the loop. If we're camping people, we have to be fully committed to camping, have a camper, and no tents, no other stuff. Like we have to be fully committed glampers, I should say. So each season of our life. Right now, we're fully committed parents. We're fully committed making sure we make it through the spring rush, and fully committed to making sure all of our customers turn their irrigation system on.
Good God, just turn your water on. It's not difficult.
Just turn your water on, people. It's not that bad. That's what I got for you on today's show. Anything else you want to share with these guys at the moment? Once we sign on the dotted line, we can tell everybody what we're doing, okay? But relax. But Jeremiah Jennings and Savannah,
it's not an ice cream shop.
It's not an ice cream shop. They're starting a bin washing business.
That's cool.
That is cool.
That is really cool. We actually, Brian, so...
They know. They already know.
Okay.
They know I'm a psychopath and I wanted to go start a bin washing business like everybody else the last 5 years, because it's a smart business idea.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's just such a funny, I feel like every little boy, I guess girls probably do too. I mean, to watch the garbage men go by, like that big machine that lifts up the garbage, especially nowadays, lifts it into the garbage bin.
Oh yeah.
Well, the trucks are really cool too. So I feel like it's also part of being a kid again. Like, oh, cool, I get to drive the washing machine truck.
Hey man, maybe it comes full circle, because on my career path when I was 17 on the computer thing, the career choice for your future, mine said garbage man or pyrotechnician. I mean, obviously I'm dropping bombs on the podcast Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's horrible. Nothing but fire.
I hated that test because you know what one of my things was?
What is yours? What did yours say?
I got something to do with psychology, and then I got something to totally two different, couple different, none of them aligned, make the same, didn't have a theme. So it was, I don't know.
Okay.
And then that's where I got the idea to be an ambassador. I
don't think that story's ever been shared on the podcast.
Oh, a lawyer was another one. And then U.S. ambassador was a thing for mine because I don't know, social. I have no idea why. And so then I got it in my head that was a job that you could apply for. Mm-hmm. And so that's when I started taking a lot of foreign language classes and stuff. And like
So not binge watching?
No, not binge watching. I even looked at going to the University of Maryland because they have a great international studies program there. And then I learned that you would think my counselor would tell me, like, no, that's an appointed position. You don't just get to go and like
I don't know.
apply for that. Yeah. And so I later in like junior year or something, he finally was like, yeah, that's not, you don't just get to apply for that. And like, that would have been nice to know like freshman year when I started making these plans and like starting the entire direction of my life to go in this way.
What if you were 17 or 18? Would you still want to be one of those Azalea girls or whatever they're called? The whatever they're called.
That also feels like a fever dream.
I listened to the podcast Marriage Monday with Jeremiah and Savannah, and Jeremiah didn't even know they existed.
They're
and
like in his town, aren't they?
Right. Well, yeah. Hold on. And then Savannah was like, "How do you not know this? Like, it's a very prominent culture."
I need to go and listen to it
thing.
because I want to know more about that.
Yeah, I only had like 20 minutes. Well, I had like 2 hours on Mo Time with the guys this week. We had a couple new commercial accounts that we picked up. We're still picking up clients left and right, guys. I mean,
we picked up.
No, don't even say the client.
Okay.
Why would you say that? Thank you.
Okay.
But we picked up some commercial accounts. And what are you doing right now? Don't tell people our accounts. We stopped sharing our accounts 3 years ago because this thing has grown ridiculously big. And they say that humbly, but it's like now I got people all over the place, know what accounts we have. And so we've went way more off the radar, way off the grid. Things are growing pretty good. But Savannah was like, how do you not know these people exist and all this other mess? And then here's the last thing I'm going to say. Who is Savannah Jennings outside
you were
of like the social media people world?
She has an alter ego.
I texted Jeremiah.
Were speculating.
Jeremiah goes, hey man, I'm doing a save the date for LAL. What's the dates? Which will be November 11th, Saturday, just so you guys know.
Those tickets actually go on sale soon.
Yeah, very, very soon. And I said, I'll tell you the date they go on sale. First, you have to tell me, who is Savannah Jennings? Like, who is she? Who is she outside of all the social media stuff? And it was really, really funny because he texted me back. He goes, I don't even know. He goes, it makes me nervous too. Like, who is Savannah? So like, he doesn't know.
I don't understand.
We had some different ideas. She could be like an archaeologist.
She has like an alter ego at work?
I don't know. She keeps teasing it.
Alter ego, not ulterior ego. I guess, I don't know.
Alter ego.
Am I speaking English?
She could be a variety of, there should be like an Instagram poll, like, who is Savannah Jennings? Is she, my cousin's Jenna, who is, which I gotta call Jenna back. I'm actually officiating.
You're supposed to marry her in like 2 months.
2 months. Well, I called her back, by the way, on Friday. She didn't
not
come.
marry her, like he's officiating. That sounded weird. Don't marry your cousin. Not only would you be a polygamist, but you'd also be incestual.
I know that's on your mind just because it's Alabama talk with not. So let's go full circle. There was some really hillbilly meme the other day, and I sent it to Jeremiah in the group chat with me, him, and Almond. And I said, Jeremiah, come get your cousins. And
come get your cousins.
he's like, those aren't my cousins, but they still have more followers than you. Because this page, all these hillbilly redneck people that were doing like really weird dances, they have like 250,000 followers on Instagram. And I'm like, do my best to get to like 50,000. And these hillbilly, just whatevers, have like 250,000. And you're just like, am I really making it that difficult to be like likable or create funny content? Like, what am I missing here? So Jeremiah got the last laugh. But in which way, you wanted to be an ambassador and argue with people.
Yeah, apparently.
I wanted to be a power technician or apparently a bin washing business. The computer just didn't catch up to where we're at today with technology. Didn't have ChatGPT. Jeremiah's doing Growing Green, and Savannah, we don't know. Behind closed doors on level 5 at the hospital. She is it a hospital up there? Who knows what's going on? So, in which way, more to come. We have to hold their feet to the fire. I'm going to introduce them that way at Together in the Trades.
What way?
Like we need to know what Savannah does for a living. Like, obviously she's a nurse, but what if she was like a double agent and somebody said like a code word and like she became like Bucky out of the Avengers movies and like
Kim Possible?
Yeah, or Salt, Angelina Jolie.
Do you even know Kim Possible?
I don't think so.
Brian actually never has watched SpongeBob either. You're old.
Yeah, but you also thought Good Charlotte was a good band. So while we're gonna just nuke each other at the last 6 minutes of this podcast, but
always happens.
What? Yeah, no, but the Angelina Jolie, there was a movie called Salt, and she was like a Russian agent or something like that, and like she could like pass a lie detector test and all this mess, but then she really was a freaking secret agent. So
blowing my mind here, Smalls.
I hate you. Okay. I gotta get this Mr. Producer, and he's gotta proof the podcast still before he like cuts it up, So he's probably like, "What do I do with this stuff?" But whatever.
Can we just get
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx us. This is going to jinx us. But praise you, hallelujah, Jesus.
For what?
Both of our kids have stayed asleep through this whole podcast.
That's
It's been 42 minutes.
There's many other things we could have did for 45 minutes now that you've been all clear.
Brian, it only takes 30 seconds.
Liz, I can't believe you throw yourself under the bus that bad. We both know it's not me that's 30 seconds, okay? Just so we're clear. Okay, some of the kids are like, what's 30 seconds? Liz, you don't even, it's not even a minute. Okay, like, are you still talking about you? Are you projecting? We all know I'm a good 2-minute man. So that's what we got for today's podcast.
Minute man.
The Minuteman silos over in Kansas. And
There's a lot of minutes in a day, though, you know? I think there's
Yeah, I'm more of a quantity versus quality.
quantity.
Listen, the farmer plants his seed in the ground. He doesn't know when it's going to come up, but he just needs to make
I'm
sure
pretty sure they come up about
the seeds
20 months apart.
9 months apart. 9 months.
20 months apart.
20 months apart every 9 months. Okay, this podcast, we have to stop now because we're giving away our Hold Together the Trades talk. So
No,
we're going to teach people how to keep their marriage together.
together in the trades again, because for those of you who didn't come last year,
We don't know.
nobody's coming again from last year to this year. For a
You
reason.
think it'd go from like 100 people last year? It's like 200 this year. Instead, Liz and I personally blew out 3/4 of the room with the
a little raunchy for some people.
apparently people don't like talking about sex. And I'm like, that's a good part of a marriage.
Okay, we should
So
just
sorry,
talk about
sorry,
5 minutes ago.
Sorry, Kayla and Brittany. We blew out half the room. To be fair, they probably blew out the other half. So who knows? But we're all in this together. So if you're coming to Together in Trades, we cannot wait. But we have people coming in from Brazil.
Which is so cool. Which also puts a lot of pressure to make sure
Yeah,
it's really good.
that's how good this conference is, folks. Or that's how maybe the internet hasn't totally got to Brazil and they're like, they don't know anything about us. So one of the two. But all right, that's what I got. Anything else you want to share? But really enjoy doing podcasts with you. And thanks for still making time to do it. I can't, literally, it's a miracle that these two kids are both sleeping. This is the first time we both should have took a nap.
We both could have been sleeping right now.
It was ridiculous. All
Or
right.
eating. I'm hungry.
Yeah, well, I'll give you some of this. All right, that's a great podcast for today's podcast. We will be back here on Wednesday and Friday.
Wait, no.
Dude, you can't wrap up 3 times here, Joel.
I know. Joel's scene.
Joel, see. This is my mom.
I was just
That's what it says. I love Joel, by the way. Everybody hates
You
Joel. I
cannot
love
come
Joel.
into my church in Texas, even though there's a national disaster. The doors are locked.
I would lock the doors too, just so we're clear. Don't get your muddy paws on my carpet.
Don't even remember what I was going to say.
You were going to say something. Dude, this is how podcasts turn awkward at the end. People are like,
Always.
yeah,
This is
people.
when I started talking about the Azalea Trail Girls.
Okay, what? I know. What's your
I
last
don't
thought?
have anything like that today.
You don't have anything? Okay, well, I said this is the last thing. You wanted to go get some snacks. That was kind of the last part of the thought
Yeah.
process. Yeah, you still want to get snacks? Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to tell the folks while we have you?
I don't know. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll have some big announcements here.
Well, when are we going to share?
Why
we
did you
have
say
to
it
at
like
some
that?
point.
When?
When we're going to share. We have to be out of here by the end of August, so eventually.
Yeah, the deal's done. We're signing on the dotted line this week and do a little ACH transfer. Actually, I hope I can use my credit card points or use my credit card to get points. Dude, that would be hilarious because I would.
lot of
That'd be a
points.
couple free plane
Nice.
tickets. I'm gonna totally.
No, apparently Delta's got blackout dates, so
Oh no, you can't use your companion ticket. I already complained about that on a podcast.
okay.
Did you listen to that one?
apparently not.
Oh yeah, what it was called when the process is more important than people.
Ooh.
Or it's just
Spicy.
No, it wasn't the process. It was like when that's just the rule here. What did I say? Policy.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just our policy here. Policy over people. I said that's when your company starts to go downhill. So we don't have that policy here. No, but we are going to use I'm going to use my credit card to get points because I'm a savage like that. All right, that's what I got. Anything else you want to add with these people?
Stop asking me that, and that's how it is. I usually don't ask me if I have anything else to say, then it can't get awkward at the end.
Okay. Well, why don't you wrap this thing up here and tell everybody where they can find us?
You can find us at Together in the Trades on Instagram, Brian's Lawn Maintenance on Instagram, Elizabeth Fullerton on Instagram. Where else are we, Brian?
We're at launchpreneuracademy.com. We're at Brian's All Maintenance on YouTube.
At Building It Together on YouTube.
Yeah, we're a little bit of everywhere.
Why do we have so much happening? Oh, we're also, if you want to follow along on Fullerton Unfiltered on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's a new one.
Launchpreneur Academy on Instagram.
Yeah, Bethany's rocking those too. Finally getting all the updates that we have going on those platforms too.
And if that is not enough.
Wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. There is our newsletter that goes out 3 times a week.
Yes, which the newsletter's been doing great. And we're on Facebook 2 days a week on Wednesdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays.
We are everywhere.
Bethany
No
is
wonder we're tired. No wonder we have Bethany, honestly.
Yeah, and Bethany probably needs an assistant too.
Yeah.
We were adding a couple things to her plate. She goes, I can see how this could be a full-time job. I'm like, yeah, totally. She goes, you're doing all this on your own? I go, I mean, you're doing you're doing a lot of new things for us, obviously, but yeah. I mean, that. She goes, and how long have you been doing this? I go, 6 years. And she goes, it's like I literally I've already unloaded 40 hours of work onto her plate. And I'm like, Bethany, it's not even half of it.
No, there's so much more. There's actually a lot more coming too, and some really freaking cool stuff that we can't wait.
You specifically can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Gotta tease. Come back soon. But any which way. Hey, one other quick thing.
This is the
Boss.
podcast that never.
Yeah, one other quick thing. Boss Snowplow committed to being the 4th sponsor this year for Launchpreneur Academy.
Yeah, which is huge.
Yeah, I cannot wait to have them there. I've wanted them there since day one.
Yeah, they're like the X mark of snow removal for us.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I love Xmark and I love Boss. I can't wait to have them there.
You know who I really love?
Who?
Emily with Xmark.
Yes.
They sent the cutest package for the crew.
The onesie.
Yeah.
They actually care.
They do.
That's why Xmark has been with us all the time, and I love promoting them. We did promote them for free for 4 years. Like, they're amazing. So now that they actually write some checks to help us run this whole outfit, that's always a big blessing too. So, and I think I have a special mower that's actually coming next week as well. I got to go pick up. Joe shot me a text message. I got to go pick that up. I can't wait to get that for our property. Yes. You know which one I'm talking about.
I do.
All right, cool. That's what we got for you guys on today's show. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to hit follow in the top right corner. Also, if you guys want to do a solid and leave us a rating and review, that's still a big deal, apparently, with podcasting. And I'm just a couple of reviews away from getting to like where Andy Frisella is with like 100,000 reviews. We have like 1,000. So just, a couple more people want to listen and actually hit the 5-star and actually hit the couple sentences. That'd be super helpful, and we would be forever grateful. So thank you guys so much for listening. Happy Monday to you guys. Have a safe week, and we will look forward to catching up with you guys here back on Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Since 1982, Exmark has been dedicated to building the world's finest mowers. These machines provide you with a quality of cut that seems impossible, dependability you can measure in lifetimes, and an operator experience like none other. Because Exmark believes if something's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Visit your local dealer to discover a one-of-a-kind ownership experience and see the difference for yourself.
Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and one more thing. If you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you need our free email newsletter. It's delivered 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. Join our mailing list to stay connected to the world of lawn care and get exclusive access to the latest and greatest from Fullerton Unfiltered and Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Don't miss out on this opportunity to stay ahead of the curve and elevate your lawn care game. Sign up now with the link we've provided in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.